Experience Karen Hunter
in a completely different way.
Karen Hunter is awesome. The podcast.
If you like me on SiriusXM Urban View Channel 126, you're gonna love me. And Karen Hunter is awesome. Hey, this is Karen Hunter, host of the Karen Hunter Show on SiriusXM's Urban View. Karen Hunter is awesome is an actual podcast to bring heat and energy and knowledge and power. A 1-2 punch that I don't think you get anyplace else. Tell the truth. Check out the podcast wherever you get your podcast. You will not be disappointed. My latest podcast on Karen Hunter is awesome is with Stephen A. Smith. And part of the reason why I reached out to him to have this conversation was because of you.
Okay. I
don't know if you remember. It was several months ago. It was you and Roy Wood Jr. Y'all were on. And then Stephen A. had said some things. And y'all did what y'all did. And I sat here. And I was like, yeah, points were made. After this, I get a text. It's like, how you gonna let them talk about me like that? And I'm like, points were made. Don't say stupid stuff. I'm not checking people who are actually. And I realized, he was really hurt by that. He went off and did his own podcast talking about how a friend of 30 years could do this to him. And I was like, sir. I realized. And this is why I had to talk with him, because I'm like, we're about to never talk again. Like that, I'm at this place because the things you were saying and doing, if this is the litmus, if this is the test that we have for friendship, I can't be your friend because this is too ridiculous. Right. And for me, friendship is something a lot more intimate than me checking somebody talking about you. Especially if you're saying things that I feel are like out of pocket. So I was like, let's have this conversation. But in the midst of it, I realized his problem, because a lot of people put him, they call him names and stuff, Stevie from Django and Coon and all of this. I'm just naming the names that he's been called. And and they put him in the same category as Candace Owen and Jason Whitlock, and he's not. Like I know. I agree. So his problem was, I know his character, but I was like, at the same time, yes, you're not anti-Black, you're not, in league with the Klan and all of this, but you're saying things that can be easily used, like Charlemagne out there, to further indoctrinate others, but also hurt us. Like and I can't, I will never. So Roderick and Roy, what they said, and then he was like, I was trying to call in, and I was like, yeah, but this ain't, I'm not doing the back and forth. Right. So I was like, let me talk. But his thing was, they don't know my character. Okay. But character is shown over time. But I realized, Rod, and everybody, he's in his mind, this is gamesmanship. Right. To me, you talked to me. Yeah. It's the same. Like I don't play games. So we doing this. Here, there, everywhere, however you meet me in the streets, it's gonna be this. You meet me online, it's gonna be this. You meet me wherever you meet me, this is it. I'm not playing any games. I don't have a strategy around how I get a bigger audience or how I negotiate my deals and all. I don't do all of that. We're gonna be here until we're not here, and then when we're not here, we're gonna be someplace else. Yes. But this ain't about, to me, like radio or brand but he's different. Yeah. So I had to come to that conclusion. And still, I don't necessarily like it, and I'm not going to be aligned with it. But I had to say that to him face to face.
I think I am not surprised by any of that. I'm careful when I talk about him to not be calling him names and stuff. I don't really question his Blackness and stuff like that. I don't think he's a Candace Owens or a Jason Whitlock. But all that being said, no one's above reproach. You give in public opinions, and you give public opinions on public people. So the rules don't get to change for you, where you get to say something that people think is stupid, and everyone has to go, well, if you know his character, he's a good guy. If you know LeBron's character, he's a good guy. But that doesn't stop you from saying stuff about him in public that he might not like. And so no one gets a monopoly on opinion, and he's a guy I will still listen to. I still think he's the best person at sports television. Whether you think it's a clown show or not, if it's a clown show, he the best clown. He the one that y'all mad at and still watch the next day. And I've always thought that he had an unrivaled ability to do TV. But yeah, and also I'm the same way as you. I don't really measure my loyalty to friendship in that way. Like it's not a, hey man, no matter what I'm doing, you better be out here in my like. Nah,
Well,
I'm okay with. Yeah.
He just had issue with me because I don't know which one of you said something.
It was probably me. I'm gonna say it was me.
It was probably you. But
Yeah.
and if I had a real problem with it, because at that time I'm like, you know, if you're doing behavior that is questionable, I'm not questioning the people questioning the behavior. Now I may not join in, or I might join in, right? And that's the other thing, because even if I'm gonna give you a little grace personally, I still have a responsibility to be on these airwaves to myself. Right. I ain't with it. I'm not with any of this. I'm not with it. Like, you know, you can be friends with whomever you want to be friends with. You can be out there, you know, entertaining, whatever. But there's too much riding on what needs to happen next. So I'm struggling even with.
Also, like, you can't say you would run for president or be considered running for president and no one have an opinion on it. That's the job. Like, even the most popular president, 40% to 50% of people is like, I don't like this guy. That's just what it is, man. Like, don't be mad at me. That's the game.
Yeah. And well, he said unequivocally, he's not running for president.
Thank God.
Why would he said that? So I was like, so good. Stop
playing. Stop playing. We serious right now, Steve. Stop playing. Do you see what's going on out here?
But here's the other thing.
It's not funny.
Yeah. Here's the other thing. I realized there are people who are absolutely out of touch, right? And, you know, you and I both get to talk to people every single day. You're in them streets more than I am. I ain't going to be in them streets, but these feel like streets on some level where you're talking to people from all walks of life, which is a unique situation. Most people are actually, they call this an echo chamber. We actually aren't in an echo chamber. We'll have some troll come in from Canada. You know, somebody coming in, I was flipping the dials. Folk, we don't know who's listening. We can't stop them from listening. And so we actually, I think, have more of a cross-section of the actual country than any other outlet in the world. And so it gives us, I think, a perspective where you don't have the luxury to be out of touch. There was a brother called yesterday, been listening to the show from his car, living out of his car, unhoused. It was Tuesday when Don was on? Unhoused brother, 3 years living in his car, but kept his SiriusXM.
Wow.
What do you do with that? Truck drivers and longshoremen, professors, of course, teachers of all ages, right?
Right.
Folk that are mail carriers, and you know, like there's a cross section of the world. 30% are melanemic. You know, like all manner of melanemia. You know, from the depths of Kentucky all the way to, you know, Vermont and, you know, the places that you know, there's even a couple of people listening in Utah. Shout out to y'all. So for me, I can't sit here with this mythical audience that's in my mind. And because, you know, fame is a hell of a drug, you can be out and you think that you know people but you flying different, you driving different, you living different. And so for you, the game, you can play a game insulated from the actual pain that people are experiencing every day.
Right.
And I don't have the luxury to turn it off, and nor do I want to. I want to hear all of it.
Right. Nah, you need
figure
those
out how we do something about it.
Yeah, and it also helps sharpen you, you know? Like sometimes when people call in they don't agree, it's like, thank you for not agreeing, because you actually like helped me make my argument better, because now I'm glad you attacked it from this point or whatever, or just I'm glad I got that experience. But yeah, I mean, look, man, this man is a big deal. So people gonna have opinions. You can't control all the opinions, and I'm sure he's had people reach out to him to try to control his opinion. And I'm sure there's times where he had to make a decision and be like, no, I'm going to talk about this in the way I want to talk about it. And I have to be honest in the way that I'm honest. And so, you know, I'm fine with it. Like I'm like him at this point. You know where I be at these Hornets games. Roll up on me. Let's talk. I'm not scared.
Oh, Roderick Morrow is here. The blackguywhotips.com, theblackguywhotips.com.
Experience Karen Hunter
in a completely different way.
Karen Hunter is awesome. The podcast.
If you like me on SiriusXM Urban View Channel 126, you're gonna love me. And Karen Hunter is awesome. Hey, this is Karen Hunter, host of the Karen Hunter Show on SiriusXM's Urban View. Karen Hunter is Awesome is an actual podcast to bring heat and energy and knowledge and power, a 1-2 punch that I don't think you get anyplace else. Tell the truth. So check out the podcast wherever you get your podcast. You will not be disappointed.